Gary appears on Fox a lot, Fox Business. And Gary, welcome back. Happy New Year to you. And looking forward to having a discussion. I see your charts here now are up on the screen.
Can you hear
Hi.
me?
Yeah, I got you now, Gary. How are you?
There is a God. Hey, how are you? Thanks for having
Yeah,
me as
there.
always.
Yeah, there is. So, what are the chart gods telling you here?
Um, so I want to just start out. Let me hold on. I gotta move this thing so I can see my chart. There you go. Um, just with a couple of lessons first. And
Sure.
my best, easiest trade of the year was Nvidia. And this is a Friday, the day before it broke out. And I do a radio show, and
Yeah.
typically I'm very specific, but sometimes I'm over the top specific. And I just basically said to my audience and on TV, if this moves above 506, buy the heck out of it. And just as a lesson to everybody, it never usually shows up picture perfect, the things that I have learned from pattern recognition and chart watching throughout my lifetime. But all we're always looking for is prior uptrends that went too far, too fast, that then have to go through a period of just sitting around and waiting until the next move. And if you look at Nvidia, it went up to 502,
Yeah.
came back, tested the 400, went up to 476, tested the 400 again, went
Yeah.
back to 505, but the next time only hit a low of 450. And then in a couple of weeks later, it looked like it was going to break out, but the market came in, and I just thought it was just about ready. And the next day was the boom right there. So we did buy the heck out of it. We sold down some at 620. Now it's 630. Here's the if I can hold on a second. I got to get the real date in here, and it's. I think I can do that. Reset to today, and you can see that move. And of course, the other part of the lesson is always look to the cousin stocks. AI semiconductor. So we bought AMD,
Yeah.
Broadcom, Microsoft, Facebook. What do they all have in common? AI, software, semiconductors, and we end up with a very good January. So very important. You never know when it's going to set up so perfectly. It just so happened. And typically I'll say it looks too perfect. It's not going to work. Once it broke out, we thought this one was going to work. Now, here's another lesson for you, SMCI. So, another NVIDIA look. If you see, let's go to day before, you got
Yeah.
6 months of range. You do have the gap 6 months ago, but things are acting better. And then they pre-announce that day. Here's a
Yeah.
lesson on something I did not do. They opened it up at around 340 after bouncing around 360 to 340.
Yeah.
And then I knew a move above 357 is buyable. Well, within seconds, it went from 340 to 370, 380. And all of a sudden, I don't own it. What the hell do I do? I know this thing, when it moves, it moves. And then it's 380. And then it's 390. Too extended for me. I'm not in. Great identification by me, and now I have a stock that went from 358 to it's 550 today. What's the lesson? Just buy the freaking stock. That's the lesson for everybody. When you see something, Marty Schwartz, the man who wrote Pitbull, one of the great traders, my favorite line of all time as far as looking at charts and patterns is what we're doing is looking at a photo album for familiar faces.
I
When
like
you
that.
see those familiar faces, you gotta play. And if it doesn't work, we're smart enough, since we're so specific on where we're buying, we're doubly specific on where we're selling. So you lose a couple of percent. But look what happened here. I don't own this stock right now, yet I identify it for everybody else that others bought, and I'm on the outside looking in. So just
Yeah.
remember that. I wrote a bunch of in my little diary, I must state that a lot of words that started with the letter F towards myself for
Right.
that. So just remember, again, let me repeat that line. It's the greatest line of technicians. We're just in a photo album looking for familiar faces. When you see it, just freaking buy it. And of course, the same goes for shorting it. So I just wanted to start with a little lesson on what I did and what I didn't do based on what we see. And we're all in the same kind of game. We're just looking for things that we've seen before. And as you know, fear and greed, whatever year it is, whatever month it is, will tend to repeat itself at given points in time. So we start with that.
So that kind of ties in with what I say, Gary. Limit orders, limit success. I
Yeah.
mean, why go through the angst of waiting to be filled for a few points or whatever it is? It's really not going to change the risk reward ratio that much, but at least you know you're in.
Bill
So,
O'Neill in his big workshop. So one of his favorite line is, "Buy the market. Just
yeah,
buy the market. Don't
yeah.
wait because the market ain't gonna wait for you." And that's that.
Okay.
So, you have
All
any
right. So,
questions to start?
oh, well, do you have any questions you want me to ask you? I'm just kidding. Uh, all right. Besides the parabolic moves and the stars of the show, does what's happening in Intel, the downgrade, bother you? Because I have a story for you.
Well, it as of yet it hasn't. And look,
Okay.
we take all our information from the market, and
Right.
here's your intel with the nice little gap to the downside.
Right.
But you know, it doesn't worry me that much because we watch the stocks we own, and if they're working, they're
Yeah.
working. Now, maybe it will have an impact eventually, but
Yeah.
all I can tell you here is the Philadelphia Semiconductor Index, and all we have is an index that got very extended,
Yeah.
kind of climactic, and maybe is done. I don't know. But for me, it's a normal pullback. It's still way above the green, which is the 21 day, and certainly above the 50 day. And we'll always stay on top of it, be very judicious, and go from there. My
Well, here's a
biggest
look.
worry,
Go
go.
ahead. Uh, uh,
My, yeah.
there is a trader that I've talked to, used to be a floor trader, said that in 2000 the bear market began or was close behind a downgrade in Intel. So it wasn't
Well,
.com stock. So I'm
it,
just saying that he said he had a flashback when he saw that Friday, and
Well, it was the day
sent me a
after
message.
Labor Day 2000. We topped out in March. We went through some wild swings. And then the day after Labor Day, Intel warns, and then we just cratered from there. I just don't
Okay.
think Intel is as important now as it back then,
Yeah,
but
that's true.
we'll continue to watch. Um, I did want to say one thing, and this is going to sound disrespectful to an outfit, but it really isn't. It's really things that I watch, and I never take on anybody in the industry. I don't put anybody down. The only person I actually talk about is Kathy Wood because I get 1,000 emails on her and questions, even though she's down 70 some odd percent in 2.5 years, something I don't understand. So I'm
Yeah,
just going
she's
to
still a
mention
star.
it's
People look.
I don't understand,
No,
but
me neither.
God bless her, and I hope everything works out for her. I always only want the best for everybody. This morning, or maybe overnight, BlackRock upgrades U.S.
Art.
stocks to overweight, and I'm
Oh
just
yeah.
thinking to myself,
They have
now
something
they're
to sell.
upgrading. Now
Yeah.
they're upgrading.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying they're wrong. I hope they're right. It's just one of those little things that I put in my file manager, knowing that we're extended, we're overbought. The sentiment indicators are pretty much off the charts, at least my indicators, which may or may not mean something. This just will add to it. And we'll see what happens. On a broad thing, we're just stretched, extended, we're overbought. But on a daily basis, I'm still finding setups. I only have, let's see, here's China. That's a bear market.
Yeah.
I've got the oils rallying up a little bit, so maybe the worst is over, but that's pretty much on the not the performing side. You got names like Nike and FedEx and whatever else is broken down. But overall, most everything, I'd say 75 to 80% of the market's in what I call uptrends of different levels because of the 10-year yield. And to be clear about this, here's the market and versus the yields this way, and then here's your market versus yields. And I'm just noticing where we're sitting right now. Bear markets are made of you get stretched to the downside away from the 50-day, you rally up into the 50, and then you fall down again. So I think we're at a very important inflection point here for yields. And if we're still in a bear market for yields, we're going to head that way. And it's probably good for the market unless we go into a big recession, which doesn't look like it's happened yet, because I don't think I've ever seen a recession where United Rentals looks like that. So we're still on a treasure hunt every day. The biggest problem we have now is 6 stocks will be 34% of the NASDAQ 100 this week and 25% of the S&P, along with everything else we got to deal with. So, and the Fed. So I take a step back and, see what comes of it.
Any market message from Apple that held very important support at 180? I know because I had puts that expired. The 180 strike. I was waiting for the breakdown, but on this recent rally, everything has, left behind prior highs, and Apple's has not.
It's interesting. Here's where it bottomed, and here's where it bottomed twice at the 200-day moving average. So you use that as major league support. And Apple, which is, I think, $16 billion every point, which is quite amazing. If it ever breaks the 200, that'll be interesting. I'm watching to see if it gaps up above the $200 level, not the 200-day moving average, because if it does, that can be important. And I must tell you, there's been so much negative talk around Apple from people on the iPhone and this, that, and the other thing, and China, that I'm gonna if we'll see what happens on earnings, and we'll know a lot more. There's not much you can really take from it yet, except it's holding long-term moving averages, and of course, I think it's number 2 behind NVIDIA right now as far as importance to tech, but it can certainly take back over number 1, breaking through 200. And keep in mind,
I thought Microsoft took over the lead
in size, but I still think of importance. I think NVIDIA's driving a bus a little bit more, but Apple's right there. And again, if it breaks above the $200 level, and by the way, their earnings are actually reaccelerating a little bit. And I'm interested to see if they can grow their sales again, which they've been down for 4 quarters. So that will matter as we move forward. But for me, there's just 2 things. Markets acting fine, setups every day, but bullishness rampant. Add in Blackrock. You keep that in the file manager, and you just find things. And if they break out, I'll just go through a list of names here. There's Adobe. If it breaks through 634, it's somewhat of an AI play. I'm watching Lululemon. Look where that's sticking right at the 50-day, where a good stock will hold and turn up. I saw restaurants acting well. Here's Domino's breaking out. Chipotle breaks out yesterday, but they report very soon. So you can see I'm finding earnings and Caterpillar.
McDonald's doesn't look good.
Yeah, it failed. His Caterpillar looks like wants to hire. Yeah, McDonald's looked like it was going to bust out and just came down, but not really doing any damage. So as long as I'm finding names, I'm good with it. Just a few more I'm watching. DraftKings right here looks like. And notice I can do this. Burlington, look, if it breaks above 200. So I have a decent amount of names that I can show, and some that are already working that just moved about. There's a Spotify above 203. So as long as that's happening, I'm in good stead. I know we're in a rougher market when there are no breakouts or breakouts are failing. Leaders start topping out. Some of my greatest calls topping in 2021. All my leading stocks were topping out. So there was all you had to do was follow the bouncing ball. 2 days before COVID, the market got really hit. I owned like 6 names. They all started topping out at the same time. I'm thinking, okay, maybe this COVID is something. So until that occurs, it doesn't, and we'll continue to ride. I'm going to just show a few others. Here's Eli Lilly, and of course they got the those
Yeah,
drugs.
and a lot of different sectors, which makes it
Exactly.
look broad.
Exactly. Here's Shopify. And let me just, I got to show the Russell, believe it or not.
I believe you.
Here's your Russell. Now that's
Yeah,
wide and loose. But if you look at a weekly, just draw a
yeah,
line going back to June of 22. And man, oh man, if that sucker can get above that.
yeah.
So there's definitely a lot of things to watch right now. I hope sentiment turns ugly again, but that will take some sort of ick
Time.
in the market first. But I
Mhm.
just think so far so good, and we're having a very good January, and let's hope it continues. But I got a feeling we're going to get a hook in the next couple of weeks.
Would it be
Um,
the Fed this week?
but possibly. But
Yeah,
I don't think they're going to make any moves. That's my guess, and I've been pretty much on target with them. And they're so behind anyhow. The 10-year yields at 4.07. They're 5.5.
yeah.
So I don't until they're printing again like crazy. I don't worry too much. But financial conditions have eased big times in the last 3 months. That's what's helping also. And yeah, again, the most important thing to say is as long as I got stocks to buy, I'm good. And you have even IBM, good reaction to earnings. I mean, if I
Wow.
Blackstone's turning up here. I showed you United Rentals, and just look at some of these reaction to earnings.
The
Booz Allen,
financials
whatever the
are
heck that is.
financials.
American Express. I mean, that is one clean breakout. That if it's, of course, it's got to stick, but we're seeing a decent amount of it. I can show you the Taiwan Semiconductor as they raise their numbers. I don't own it. I want to own it if it pulls back constructively. SAP in the software with the big gap. So, and then you got the financials that just act well. So I really don't have much bad to say except China, solars. It's easy to isolate the weakness right now, and we'll just continue to pay attention. And as we said, photo album for familiar faces.
What kind of face do you have on Tesla? Who's the relative?
Uh, Tesla looks like the south end of a northbound jackass.
All right.
And look, there's a rhyme and a reason. If you look at the bottom, you got two red numbers of earnings down 37 and 40.
Yeah.
Because and by the way, Tesla, Rivian,
Yeah.
what's that other one? LI. As
Yeah.
we always, as I
EVs.
said at the outset, the cousin stocks, the whole electric vehicle thing is
Yeah.
in disarray right now because of clear lack of demand. And the only thing I can say about Tesla, it's stretched and extended to the downside. But one of the, I guess, Magnificent Seven that's in a bear market. We'll keep a watch. If it retakes right in, come on, little guy. If it retakes this in here, just something to think about. But we like uptrends. We love like relative strength, and you can see relative strength is down to a 29 out of 99. And again, uh, but it's a high beta name, and you never know what Musk will pull out of his hat. Uh, it's up 4 and change today. I don't know why. We'll see. I guess he did something with brains. I heard overnight.
With
But
brains?
yeah, he does a brain implant or a
Oh, I
transplant or
see.
something. I don't know if you read
Oh,
about that.
no.
That
Uh,
scares the hell out of me. Um, but
I was going to
anyway,
ask you about cannabis. They've had some of them have had nice recoveries. I don't know if it would
yeah,
qualify for, the kind of stocks that you look at, but
this is what
they
I
look
tell my
okay.
this is what I tell my peeps. We're going to show you some weed stocks, something we don't usually do, but some of these Canadian ones, bingo, TCNNF,
Yeah.
GTBIF,
Yeah, great
This is
thing.
right. Let me see if the CRLURLF. Hold on, CURLF.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Um,
pure leaf.
and then you
Yeah,
got like I was
that's
noticing
American. That's not Canadian.
with a couple of them more. Um,
Yeah,
Here's MJ. Looks like it wants to go, and then
yeah,
CGC. But remember, there's some bad ones here. And do not forget, here's your monthly.
right.
And all I can tell you, they were screaming at us to buy these things up here.
Yeah,
I still remember that. So yeah, they look okay. But again, I'm a growth guy. I love tech. I love retail, and they're still acting well as we head into earnings. Interest rates seem to be staying down. They're down a little bit again today, but we'll just we'll keep our
Forex.
eyes.
One
Yeah,
of our attendees, Forex Gal, wants your view on gold miners. They're pretty cheap, but I don't think you see them as uptrend.
they're they're comatose.
Yeah,
I mean,
okay.
I look at GDX, and then I always look at the big institutional name. Look at Newmont. Holy
Yeah,
crap.
Newmont had some mining issues. Yeah, we're making new yearly lows. You have to go back a few years.
It's amazing. And I'm always a big believer in commodities that the stock should be doing better than the metal in a bull market.
Yes,
So it's the opposite.
for a
But
while now.
the gold, the metal looks okay in here.
Yeah,
I have no complaint about that. And there are a few stronger names. Actually, AGI also came down. What's the other one I was looking at a few weeks ago? Here, HMY. So there
okay,
is some
Harmony.
strength on a one
Yeah,
year basis in
yeah,
some gold names, but overall, man, it's just
yeah.
and very surprising too. And it's teased a couple of times.
Okay. All right.
Anything
Well,
else?
Gary,
Ask away.
well, yeah, everyone wants to know how they could follow you besides you being here every 3 months or so, and
Yes.
how they could get your stuff.
Uh, Go to GaryK.com. We do have a consulting and email service. It's called convictionleaders.com. You can press the button right there, and we do 1 month free. And basically, what we've turned it into is we give a lot of commentary throughout the day, and we do nightly webcasts showing you what we're seeing, not just telling you. And it's worked out pretty darn well. I'm surprised how good it's gone, but we've had some really good uh, stocks, and that's what people want,
Glad for you.
and specific. So so far
Yeah.
so good.
We're getting another question from T. Baker. The uranium stocks were on fire all last year. Little
Look where they
pause,
pulled
but
back to. Here's the
yeah,
uranium total index right into the 50-day.
and the
If this
gap.
is going to work, this is around where you buy them.
Yeah,
I mean,
okay.
a clean pull. And just so you know, pullbacks should look exactly like this from 10 or 11 o'clock down to 4 o'clock. And that's what it looks like. Here's some names NXE,
Yeah, looks
uranium,
good. Yeah,
CCJ.
yeah, they
They
all
look
look the
terrific
same.
here.
Yeah,
They
they
all
do
look the
look good.
same.
Yeah.
As I say, the school's of fish.
Where can
You
people hear you on your radio show? Is it they get it on the internet or what?
We post it at GaryK.com every night. We pre-tape at 4 o'clock. We're in a bunch of radio stations that take it around 6 p.m. Eastern time, but we post it at GaryK.com every night, at our Twitter feed also, and it's also on Spotify, Apple, and all that other stuff. So
Okay.
it
And
used to be called a radio show, but now it's a radio show podcast.
okay, and the requirements to become a member of your fan club?
Uh, Requirements. What's a
To
requirement?
be in the Gary Kaltbaum fan club.
A smile. How's that? Yeah,
All right.
just check out what we do, and
All right.
I think the most important thing we do is my motto: when wrong, be wrong fast and be wrong small, and when right, try to run them out as far as they want to go. Which is, by the way, the hard part, because markets are a pain in the you know what.
Yeah, and
But
I just want to say that Gary is not always a permable. So I've seen him when he's been cautious and
oh,
right to be so. So
I'm the market.
yeah,
I'm the market. If the
eh,
market's bearish, I'm bearish. As I started this, we are been big bears on China forever.
yeah,
We've been big bears on solars forever. We were bearish on the financials until this day right here.
Yeah.
I could go on and on about how we deal with markets. We are at the mercy of markets. We do not dictate to them. We interpret them. So if we go bearish, we're out. Just so you know, in the bear market, we were 100% in cash for our clients. 100%.
Okay.
From July to October, except for 3 mega cap stock names that we made money on, we were out of the market. On November 1st, we called a confirmation day that we thought turned the market, and that's an O'Neill follow-through day, and that's the day we turned. That was right in here. So we are the market again, and it's just a photo album for familiar faces. And if we think things top out, we'll be out. Like just one example, we thought the housing stocks may start to get in trouble again, but they're still hanging in there. And if they break out again, we're good. If 97 gets taken out on the ITB, that's another story. So we're already on notice. So the market gives us clues before things get in trouble, but they have to confirm getting in trouble, just like November 1st confirmed to the upside. So we're not worried about the next bear market. We'll be ready.
Biggest mistake in the last 12 months?
SMCI.
Okay.
How you not own something that you were sitting and watching and ready to go on that morning, and just because it went from 350 to 375, and I mean literally almost a couple of minutes.
You didn't feel like chasing it.
At 375, you're saying to yourself, wait a minute, it just went up 30 points in 2 minutes. What if I buy and it drops to 30? And of course, you see what happens. So that to me, I should at least bought a probing position, a little extended, and go from there. And I didn't even buy one share.
We're always learning, Gary, and sometimes the same lessons over and over again.
Every minute of every day, bro.
Yeah. Gary Kaltbaum, everybody. Follow him on X at Gary Kaltbaum. And Gary, I love the energy you bring to our community, and we've been talking for years now. I want to thank you for your giving spirit, sharing your work with us, and edifying our community.
Well, you're doing great things for a hell of a lot of people. Keep it up. Education of people in their finances and money is so important, because I've met too many millionaires that are broke because of buying NFTs and crazy stuff at the highs. So keep up the great work, my friend.
All right. And you too, Gary, my trading warrior brother. And that's going to be a wrap. People are saying thank you, Gary. They enjoyed. And you could
Quite
join
welcome.
the team. Yeah, and you could join the team in 15 minutes on the morning edge. Don't just count your winning stock positions or pips. Count your blessings that you have money to trade with, and you're not making a choice between paying your rent and getting your medicine. So that's a wrap, everyone. See you tomorrow. Thanks again, Gary.
Take care.
Hey traders, this is Blake Morrow with Forex Analytics. Thanks for stopping by our YouTube channel. Don't forget to like these videos, share them, and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of the content that we provide here for free. Thanks for stopping by. I'll see you in the next video.